I believe everybody in California has a right to health care.
Congresswoman Porter, your thoughts on the idea of funding health care for undocumented immigrants statewide?
Yes.
Yes, and
that's, by the way, what I think Californians deserve as answers to these questions, Alex.
And immigrants, whether documented or not, work hard. They pay taxes. And sometimes they get injured on the job or their children get sick.
And that's Democrat candidates in this week's debate vying to become the next governor of California on providing fully funded state-backed health care to illegal immigrants. Facing a $12 billion budget shortfall in the last fiscal year budget, California Governor Gavin Newsom has scaled back some state health care for illegal immigrants, with California's health care now covering about 1.7 million illegal immigrants, mostly funded by California taxpayers to the tune of nearly $11 billion. It's a big issue in this race, and joining me now is California Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton. Steve, great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. How much is that an issue among the other issues for California voters? What can you tell us about your race right now?
Maria, it's a really big issue because there are really big costs now being put onto every Californian. The healthcare costs are going up. It takes longer and longer to wait for care wherever you go because of the overwhelming number of people who are coming who shouldn't be here getting that care. And the taxes are going up. We pay the highest taxes in the country for the worst results. And in the face of all of that, what do you get from all of those Democrats in the debate last week was more of the same or even further left. That's why I said right at the beginning of my campaign, no free health care for illegal immigrants. We got to get the budget down, spending down, so we can cut taxes. Your first $100,000 tax-free, a flat tax of 7.5% over $100,000, and we got to implement the tax changes that the president has made at the national level. Here in California, Gavin Newsom is blocking no tax on tips. I said we would implement that as well. We've got to relieve the pain and the pressure, especially on working people and small businesses in California.
Well, how could he block no tax on tips when it's in the federal big beautiful bill legislation for the country, for the overall the entire country? How could he block it?
Well, it's being implemented federally, but for state taxes, most other states have matched it either automatically or they've passed legislation to match it in terms of state taxes, but California hasn't done that. So workers in California, I'm in restaurants and bars the whole time talking to people who've got these totally escalating costs on everything. Highest gas prices in the country, electric bills that have doubled in the last 10 years, the highest housing costs and rents, everything off the charts expensive. So you get a bit of relief there. In other states, no tax on tips for working people, but not in California. They want to keep more of your money.
That's unbelievable. Well, look, right now we are seeing this major interest from Republicans supporting you in California. Also, Spencer Pratt running for mayor in Los Angeles. Could we see a wave of Republicans take over in California? Do you really think you can pull that off?
Yes. Look, it's so bad here. I mean, this is the point. Wherever you look, you've got the crime and chaos on the streets. The school results are a disaster. The economic situation is a disaster. Highest unemployment rate in the country. Highest poverty rate in the country. It's just so bad after 16 years of one-party rule. People have had enough. And I know that people look at California and say, oh, it's such a Democrat state. But remember, President Trump got more votes in California in 2024 than I will need to win this year in November in the general election. It's all about the turnout. And there's a really big thing that everyone needs to understand, which is here in California, whatever happens with the Save America Act, we're going to be able to vote for voter ID in November. It's on the ballot in California. That's going to really get a big Republican turnout. So I think the mismanagement is so bad. I'm putting forward a positive, practical, pro-worker plan. So is Spencer Pratt. He's going to clean up L.A. I think people are sick of it. I've got Democrats coming to my events, big industry guys in tech and Hollywood, all saying we've had enough. They've supported Democrats for years, but they're coming to my campaign because they know we desperately need change.
Well, look, you've seen big money leave the state. People are very upset about this billionaires tax. They're upset about high taxes. Some analysts and commentators say that the cumulative wealth shift is up, ranging from $500 billion all the way up to more than $1 trillion just in the last decade because of all of these taxes. What's the impact of that, of all of these high-profile people and businesses leaving the state because of high taxes?
Well, one impact is in the fact that we got the highest unemployment rate because the jobs aren't being created here. You were just talking about AI. All those giant AI companies, they're based in California, but all the investment, the semiconductors, the data, all the manufacturing, the real job creation from that, that's going to Texas and Arizona. And exactly as you say, the people who are leaving who pay most of the taxes in California, that means we're billions of dollars down in terms of tax revenue. And that's what we got to turn all that around. Instead of raising taxes, raising spending and driving people out, we've got to cut taxes. And then, of course, you get the growth, which is what we need in California.
Well, let me tell you, New York is watching what happens in California, because if this goes through with that billionaire's tax, Mamdani in New York and Hochul in New York are going to think nothing of putting that through in New York. And I'm just wondering if you believe that Gavin Newsom is not really behind it, because he says, look, I'm against this tax. I don't agree with this billionaire's tax. A lot of people say Kathy Hochul is saying she doesn't believe with some of Mamdani's proposals. But after November and the election there, she's going to go align with him on everything. Does Gavin Newsom align with all of this after the election as well? In terms of his office?
Well, look, Maria, he did nothing to stop it. It's pushed by a union that supports him. He could have headed it off. He did nothing. And he's also saying that he supports something like this nationally. He just doesn't want it implemented state by state because he knows that it's just going to drive people out of California. But he's spoken out in favor of a wealth tax across the country. These Democrats have learned nothing. They're just going further and further left. And in California, that's why I think we're going to see a big political revolution happen this year.
Wow. All right. We're watching this. Everyone's talking about it. We will watch your work, Steve. Good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Great to be with you.
California gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.